Recording on this computer. All right. So the credit check is based off of the Loon algorithm, or like, what is it, the base 10 or modulus 10 algorithm. Modulus 10 algorithm. It's essentially a way to determine whether a credit card is valid or not. And it essentially follows these, this logics. So the formula verifies a number against its included check digit, which is usually appended to a partial account number to generate the full account number. This full account number must pass the following tests. So it says from the rightmost digit, the very right, which is the check digit, moving left, double the value of every other digit. Okay, so I'm starting here. Every other digit, I need to double. So if the product of this doubling operation is greater than 9, i.e., 14, then the sum of the digits of the products need to be broken out and added together. So the 14 needs to be separated. 1 and 4 equals 5. So then take the sum of all the digits in the entire credit card number. If and only if the total modulus 10 is equal. So if you add all these together, you take that modulus 10, if it equals 0, then the number is valid. So we can use the same process to validate an account number using, here it is. So here's the account identifier. We're doubling every other digit starting from the very right. So starting from here, every other one. So 4 is 8, 5 is 10, 7 is 14, and so on and so forth. And if it's the digit if it's greater than 9, so right here 10, 1 plus 0 equals 1. 1 plus 4 equals 5. 1 plus 6 equals 7. Great. Then you add all those together, which equals 70. And then you take that modulus 10. If that equals 0, then you have a valid credit card number. So that's the exercise. Does anybody have any questions? Nope. All right, I'm going to fork this over. Let's see if this is, all right, I already forked it over. Let's clone it down. So I'm on Tom Preet, credit check, Lima Platoon, fork from Lima Platoon. Clone or download, copy that over, open up, clear this, and delete that. List it. I'm going to get clone. Cloning it. List it out. I've got 99 bottles, Armstrong numbers, credit check, def grandma, get practice. Okay, I'm going to CD into credit check, list it out, and I am going to open this in the new VS Code window. All right, so I've got credit check, I've got JavaScript, I've got Python. I'm going to go doing the Python one. So I'm going to open up both the Python credit check Python file and the spec file, split the screen, close out that, open the terminal. So the first thing, what I'll do is write some test files. So here, I'm just going to literally just convert these into unit tests. So the first thing I need to do is import unit test, and then I'll comment that out. Then class credit check test case unit test dot test case. Then here I actually start writing my test case, def test returns. I can test a couple of things. I can always just test that it returns a string. Test which returns, I don't even know, just test returns.
A list.
I can do that. It's actually not going to return a list. It's actually going to return a string. So whether it's valid or not. I'm just going to say test returns valid when given valid credit number. Self. Then I said these three strings when given, I'm going to say these given the following valid credit numbers. Actually, hold on a second. A return the number is valid. All right. And then down here, I can actually do self.assert equal, and then just actually execute these. So here, dot. And I'm just going to replace these. All right. I'm just doing all this in one test case. You could break these out. Invalid when given invalid credit number. So I literally just converted what was given to us to, I could test the output, whether it's a string or not. But just for time's sake, I'm going to keep it like that. Is that right?
Hey, Tom, before you run that up top, what we found last night, the from check credit, that's actually from credit check.
From credit check.
Yeah, that had up for a bit. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I see that. I think I saw that in the Slack channel, and it wasn't quite credit check. Yep. So it's like from this credit check file, import the credit check method. Are all these correct?
It says cast on your main name for your unit test class.
I'm sorry?
It's cast and not case. I don't know if that matters.
No, yeah. Cool. Thank you. I just want to make sure I have all the correct. All right. Whoa. Cool. So I'm in here, list, going into Python, credit check spec. If I want to do Python credit spec, oh no. So it says line 7. Oh, duh. Okay. Pass. Clear. Did it not run it?
You have an if main.
Thank you. No, always forget that. Cool.
In VS Code, there's actually shorthand. If you type the word main and hit tab, it should auto-complete for you for Python files.
Look at that.
Sweet.
Then good old VS Code. Clear. Cool. 2 failures. Great. All right. The credit check. This one's fun because it takes into a string and you have to essentially convert strings to numbers and break them out. It's always fun. So the first thing I want to do is grab the length, grab the very last index, because I want to start at the last index and double like every other one. So I'm going to start, this is like this keeps track of the index, this input length. So I can do input length equals length of string -1. I'm doing -1 because if it's 16, I want to grab the, if it's length 16, I want to grab the very last index, which would be index 15 because it includes 0. New value, that's going to be a string. I'm going to do sum because I want to keep track of the sum. And then I'm going to do while input length is greater than 0 or greater than or equal to 0 because this tracks the index because I'm going to go down through it. I'm going to declare a variable name, declaring a variable num, which equals 0. And here is where I'm going to actually double the numbers in that credit card number. So, all right. So if, and how can I determine whether or not it's like every other one? So if like an input number, so if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. How can I go every other one?
Make that as one of your arguments in your function.
I can make it, I'm sorry?
When you're typing it in, if you type in like what you're expecting and then you put an increment on the right side, that should tell you.
I can do an increment, but I want to start at the very end.
You could check if it's divisible by 2.
Yes, so I can do if input length modulus 2, so like right here, this is index 15, 8 is at index 15, index 14 would be 2, and that's the one I would want to double. So if index 14 modulus 2 equals 0, then I want to double it. So I can do num. So right now, this whole thing is a string. I can turn it, how do I turn it into an integer? So I can do like string, the value at that input. I don't like the input length. I'm going to do input index. That's more appropriate. So I heard int, so I can turn that into an integer by doing int, and I can times it by 2.
I had a question. We avoided it yesterday, but I'm not sure if it actually matters. STR, if you actually put a parentheses behind it, it would actually use like a built-in function, converting it to a string. So if we're using STR as a variable, would that
Oh.
have any issues? I mean, we just decided to avoid the keyword, but because I've never tried to run it that way.
Yeah, we didn't catch that, and it got ugly when we tried to run
Yeah, that's a good point. And to reiterate, of naming your arguments, kind of what it is, what it's supposed to be. So we can do like, instead of string, we can do credit number.
I just had another question. If we're starting to look at the index from the last number, did we want to reverse that string, or is that too much effort?
So like, it's not necessary. You can definitely do it that way. But this kind of ensures that you're doubling every number from the right, I would say. Because
Yeah, so technically, you would have to, instead of checking if it's evenly divisible by 2, when you reverse it, it needs to be odd. So line 7, if you were to previously reverse it, now you're going through regular.
Yep.
Your check to see which index you're at needs checked if it's odd instead of even.
Yeah. And that's just like a part of the challenge. It could be like, you know, do this without manipulating the original input. So I just don't want to, I don't want to manipulate the original, but you can definitely reverse it. You can do other things.
I wasn't sure if it was something that might be, I mean, intuitively better, or whether it's just something I was just thinking of the way I was thinking about it.
No, that's definitely an approach you can take. Like first I'm going to reverse it and then go, because it's almost like logically easier to start from the left to the right. All right. So I'm at this number. Now I want to check. So I've doubled the number. So right here I'm doubling every number. I can actually, let's just test this real quick. Just in this file, I can print num, and which ones that is valid. I can credit. Was it check credit? I'm gonna clear down here. I'm just gonna Python credit check.py. Oh no. Yep, I was in an infinite loop there. Let's just do, just for testing purposes. Oh. So I'm down here in the terminal.
Before we run that, you'll still get another partial infinite loop on indent line 10.
There we go. Thank you. There we go. So I'm doubling every number, 8, 10. So now I've doubled every number. Now I want to test to see if the number is 2 digits long, and then convert it to a string, and then add those values together, and then add it to, what is it, the sum? So I can do another if statement. I can do if length of string. Thank you for renaming this, because I need to turn something into a string. I'm going to turn that number into a string, and if that length is greater than 1, I need to do something to that. I need to add those values together. So I'm going to do num because this is going to be those values added together. And then I need to, so I've got these. So I need to separate them into a string. Or hold on, I have to convert it to a string and grab the index at 1 or 0 and 1.
Is it possible that I interject something that might alleviate the converting the string hassle altogether? Okay. If it's a double digit, ultimately when we're trying to add the two numbers together, it will result, the result that we're looking for is going to be 9 less than what it is. So any of the 2-digit numbers, when you add them together, any of the 2-digit numbers between 10 and 19, when you add them together, will result in that 2-digit number minus 9.
So like that?
So if I would go through and put on if the number, so on line 9, if number is greater than 9,
Oh, okay.
and then we, because we already converted it to an integer, and now if it's greater than 9, then num minus equal 9.
So num minus equal 9.
And then that way you don't have to worry about trying to convert it back to a string and then back to an integer, and
Nice.
saves a little time.
And then I want to, so that's equivalent to adding those 2 digits together, correct? Awesome. So I'm gonna print, because up here, this new value, I kind of wanted to, my initial thing was to add all those values together. Let's see. Because I was going to need it to be a string anyway.
Okay, yeah, we did something similar. Instead of it using it as a string, we pretty much converted everything into an integer. So we would keep it as an array. So the new value, instead of a blank string, would be a blank array. We depended the digits and then just use a sum function on the entire list.
Nice. Yeah. That definitely. Yeah. See, I like the first time I ever did it, I was just like converting things back and forth. So up here, you're saying was just an empty array?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. Let's see if I can do it now. So I got the new num, and I can new value dot append num.
Yes. Yep.
Then else, I would just new val dot append num, right? Wait, hold on. Oh no, yeah.
Well, we only converted the string into an integer on line 8. But that was if it was every other index. So if it fails the if test on line 7, we would now still need to add that number, but without it being doubled. So that would, line 12 gets unindented one level, and then now we do new val append num integer version of input of credit number at index input index. So new val dot append credit number index of input index. And that should convert it all over.
But also here, I need to append. So if the number isn't greater than 9, else, I'd still have to do else.
You could just unindent line 11 because it's appending either way.
Oh, yep. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you. Optimizing on the fly. All right. I can delete that. That was just for intensive purposes. Else. Oh, no. Now in here, I can do the input index minus equals 1. So once I get to that point, it's looped through everything. Now, you said we sum these all together?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Thomas,
built-in.
there is one issue. Some SUM is reserved. That's actually a function.
Oh, thank you.
And that's the function you want to use.
Yep. Sum val. Sum of credit number. Where else was I using this? Nowhere. Okay, cool. So, well, so for, is there a built-in Python method to sum an array of numbers?
Yeah, just sum and then pass it the list.
So sum and then new val, like that?
Yep.
Well, I want to see that. Print sum. Oh, what did it say?
Oh,
You still have strings inside your new val list.
yeah, line 13, you want to convert to integer before appending.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's
You're printing, you need to.
yep, sum of credit number equals. All right, let's see. 65. Is that right?
I think you're looking for 70, right?
Yeah.
You left off the first number, maybe?
Greater than or equal to-
I think I know because I think we ran into the same problem initially.
Oh.
You're doubling where all of the indexes are even, but you're not doubling where they're not even. Because you still have to double the other. Oh wait, I'm sorry.
No, it's every other.
I just misstated that.
Yeah, because we're still going from right to left through the number, and it looks like
Well, I think when
like
you
we're short. If this was a
Short
valid
by
number,
one number.
Well, X
Yeah.
equals.
so
well, let's verify, double check the number that we're running in here. So scroll down, line 19. We copied and pasted that from a valid or from an invalid.
Should be valid. Let's go up here. Oh, it might be a.
554 to 2040. Okay, so that should be a valid. It looks like it's just missing the final
Oop.
5, the very first.
Yeah.
Which should be last value.
Same number or similar numbers.
Number 0, 1 greater than equals 0. Credit index.
I think the modulus should be total equals to 1, isn't it? That
I'm
check.
sorry. Where are you at?
Just thinking out loud, I think 7. It should be equal to 1. There should be a remainder of 1 because you don't want the first one, you want the next one.
but I think the last index is index 15. So
Yeah.
the first
Okay.
index should be index 14.
So that's interesting. Let's see if it actually print credit number index or input index. So it should print them all out. So it is printing them all out. Is it? Unless there is an error in 014. Yeah.
There are two numbers that are very similar, one in the invalid and one in the valid.
Let's try this.
It should be 808, and it's 801 right there in the middle.
808. Oh. Thank you. Yep. Just using the wrong test one. Cool. Not going crazy. All right. So we got that. Now we can just do like if sum of credit number modulus 10 equals 0, return, what is it? What should it return? The number is valid? Else return the number is invalid. All right. Clear. See if I'm printing anything. Oh. All right, nope. All right, now I can run my test. ls python credit check spec. One failure. Which one failed? Did I have this in the wrong?
Yeah, that's 801, not 808 for valid.
Let me see. Where is this one? Line 37. So this one should be.
I think you want the one from line 5, right? You want a valid or invalid one?
I want it to be, so line 37 should be invalid. Oh, okay. Thank you. So these last ones. Clear. There we go. Then a green, credit, check, spec. There we go. So that's one way to do it. I was converting everything into strings. And here's another way to do it. Pretty much the same way, just this is where I was actually converting stuff from strings to integers and then using a string versus an array. Using string conversion. Yep. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I had a question, I guess, more or less best use cases. So if we have one function that we're testing, most of the challenges that we're working on now are pretty much just one function. Optional, make your help your functions. In the Python testing, we make one class per function, and then we run as many tests on that function inside of that class. And then if we had multiple functions on that sheet that we imported in, so up at the top it'll say import this particular function from. So if we had multiple functions on that credit check .py, and we wanted to check, we want to test out the rest of those functions, up at the very top it would be just import, and we wouldn't necessarily have to import a specific function from that module. If we, okay, that would be import all.
Yeah.
So each class would have its own, each function would have its own test class, and then you run 100 tests all within that class, or have as many tests you want. Okay.
Yep. All right.